In today's video, I'll be showing you how to set up your new Android phone and transfer all data from your old device. Let's get started. This method should work for all Android phones, however some devices will have slightly different settings and options, but it will be similar enough to follow along. In this example, the old device will be a Samsung phone and the new device will be a Google Pixel. If you're transferring from iPhone to Android, make sure you choose the iPhone option when it asks, but I'll mention this at the time. If you don't need to bring data from an old device, you can simply skip this section when we get to it. You can get started by unboxing your new Android device now if you haven't already, and feel free to use the video chapters to skip past any sections you've already done. Before powering on your new device, insert your new SIM card if it's a physical one that came with it. If it's an eSIM, keep an eye out for this during the setup, and contact your network or carrier if anything doesn't work. If you're using the SIM from your old phone, then make sure this device is powered off before you take it out, and you can insert it into the new phone now, but this can also be done later. The transfer may bring data off your microSD card if you have one, and put it into the internal storage of your new phone. If you don't want it to do this, you could remove the SD card for now, and then insert it into your new phone after the switch, but only if it supports one. Again, make sure your devices are off if you do this. Another thing to mention is that transferring data will not delete that data on your old phone. That phone will still work as normal with your files and apps. The only difference will be that because it doesn't have a SIM, no cellular functions will work, but it will still have Wi-Fi for us to be able to transfer. Next, make sure both your phones have enough battery power to be able to complete the transfer and setup, and I'd recommend having the charging cable ready if you need to charge either device during the transfer. You may also want to use the cable to transfer the data between the two devices, however a good Wi-Fi connection should work fine. If your old phone is also an Android device, you could also check that you are signed into the correct Google account on this device. You should be able to check this on the account settings page, as you'll need to make sure you use this same Google account when we set up your new phone. Turn on Bluetooth on your old device now as well, as you might need this for the setup and transfer. We're now ready to power on your new Android phone for the first time. Also, power on your old device if it's still turned off. This is where the method may differ slightly on each Android phone. The first page that greets you might be the accessibility settings, where you're able to change things like the text size to make the screen easier to see and read. Once you're happy with these settings, tap on the Continue button or move to the next page. Continue through the first few pages until you get to the screen that mentions setting up from another device. On this page, you need to choose the type of device you're transferring from. So this is your old device. For example, if it's an Android phone, choose this, but if it's an iPhone, you'll need to tap on this option. If you are transferring from an iPhone, there might be extra steps. For example, you'll need to manually select your Wi-Fi network from the list, then enter your password to connect to it. You'll then either need to log in or create a Google account. If your old device is Android, all of this should be done automatically, but you will probably still need to verify it's you by confirming the on-screen prompt for your Google account. For example, a code might pop up on your old phone. As this example is using an old Samsung phone, we will choose Android. Continue through the pages until you get to the QR code screen on your new phone. This is used to link the devices for the setup and transfer. You need to scan this QR code on your old device. You should be able to do this by opening the camera app on your old phone and holding it above the QR code. Then tap on the link that appears. If that didn't work, try a QR code scanner app. As mentioned, you might need to manually connect to your Wi-Fi network and sign in or create a Google account and follow the verification steps. This could be confirming a code as mentioned, but it might use other trusted devices. Next, allow the automatic setup to continue and then you might get to the page called Verify that it's you. On here you need to enter the information it requests, which could be the passcode from your old phone. Enter this in the box and then you can check or uncheck the box depending on whether you want to use this PIN on your new Android phone. After this, continue to the next page. You might now be asked to set up an unlock type on your new device, such as fingerprints. Follow the steps for this. You can skip this section if you want, but if you want to add your fingerprints now, agree to the terms, and then scan your fingerprint multiple times until it's added, and then tap on Next or Continue. Eventually you should get to the page called Copy Data from your device. Make sure you choose to do this if you want to bring the data. So for me, I need to tap on Next. Allow the automatic steps to complete until you see the page where you can choose exactly which data you want to transfer. It is up to you what you select here, but you can use the checkbox next to each category to select the data type, such as photos and messages. If you want everything transferred, then leave all the boxes checked. Just make sure you don't go over the storage limit. Tap on Copy when you're happy with the selected data, and then allow this to complete. It could take a while depending on how much data you are transferring, but you should be able to continue with the setup on your Android device. The next page relates to Google services. You can customize this to your preference and continue when you're happy. For example, you may want to opt out of diagnostics data being sent. Some of the following pages could differ depending on your device. For me, the next page is regarding warranty information, so I can just select the country and continue through the pages. One of the pages should be called Continue Setup, which we can do now. So tap on Continue, and now you can set up things like the Google Assistant by following the steps and reading the commands. You can choose to skip this by tapping on No Thanks or Set Up Later. There should then be a general setup screen where you can choose the individual elements to customize. For example, you can customize the text size or set up additional features. Tap on Next or Continue and work through the remaining few pages and choose your preferred options for each. If all the data is now transferred, you should see the Copying's Done page, or you might need to wait until this is finished. Remember to keep an eye on the battery level of your devices, and if you're unsure about this, connect them to the charger. Once the transfer is complete, tap on Done, and there should now only be 1 or 2 pages left. There could be additional account sign-in options or pages relating to the unique features of your device, but you should be able to skip these. For example, some devices will have their own accounts to create. Once you've followed the remaining setup steps and completed the overall device setup, you should be on the home screen and have all your data on it. This also includes things like your wallpaper. I'd now recommend checking that everything has copied over before you delete the contents of your old phone if you choose to do that in the future. Remember that data could still be transferring in the background. You can always move files and photos manually via the internet or a PC later, as the data on your old phone will not be deleted, as mentioned at the start. If you don't see all of your apps yet, don't worry, as these will probably still be installing, so check by swiping down from the top of the screen to see your notifications. Allow these to download and install, and it might take a while depending on how many apps need to be installed. Remember that some of the apps on your device might require sign-ins again, and some will have their own way of transferring data and backups, so check for the method for each of the apps you own if their data wasn't transferred within the app. You can now check out your new device and continue to set up and customize it in the Settings app. That's how to set up your new Android phone and transfer all data from your old device. Click or tap the card on screen now to watch a video of mine, showing you 10 easy ways to speed up your Android device. If you have any questions, then let me know in the comments below, and if you did find today's video helpful, remember to leave a like and feel free to subscribe for more tips in the future. Be sure to stick around to see some of my other videos that you might be interested in. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in another video.